Hi everybody, it's James, and we need to talk about the Swifts.
I'm the silence in the noise, I'm the snowflake in the storm, and I'm so fragile, already torn, 'cause my head is the worst of them all, but I'm unbreakable. I'm unbreakable, yeah, I'm unbreakable, yeah, I'm unbreakable.
Why, hello there, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is a different kind of video, and one that hopefully you guys will tell me about what you think, because we need to go over the end of the season. We also need to go over what's going to be happening with the Swifts in the future, and we also need to go over tons of statistics and stuff. We're going to break down where the team is, where we're going, and what we can doing, and what can we doing, what we will be doing. So, hence no camera right now, because we're going to be looking at data sheets and stuff, and my gigantic head will get in the way. So, first things first, this is an analysis video. We're going to go over a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about the future. And if you don't like statistics or weird stuff, or be asked a lot of questions to respond to, you know, skip over to the next one. It'll be after the transfer window. We'll be starting the next season. But essentially, we've accomplished part one of what we wanted to do in the Swifts. We've made it to the Premiership, and we've established ourselves in the Premiership. I mean, we think we did a very good job on that, and I think that leads us into, well, where did we finish? Aha, Hepburn and Hart's got to play there. Raz is going to be watching that like one with a hawk. League table, we finished second to Rangers. And the worst part of all of this is that if you look at our losses this year, 2 of them are to Rangers, and we had 1 draw to them. And then obviously we never beat them. So here's the crazy thing, right? They beat us to the championship 86 points over 84. If we had won one of the losses, if we had taken that loss and switched it to a win, we would have won the league. If we took that draw and switched it to a win, we would have won the league. So we literally just needed to do a little bit better. Or I think if we took one of these points and we drew, we would have won the league, because we would have been tied on goal difference. So that's a little bit of a kick in the teeth. The good news about this is we've got a lot of positive things going forward. Ignore that. Let me see here. There's the end of season team meeting, club vision. We've got a lot of stuff. We'll go through, we'll do the end of season. By the way, £2.85 million. Rangers were crowned champions. I took the press conference. Farrell had a great job. Okay. There is the, I'm trying to find the end of season thing. I guess it's gone after a while. I won the Football Manager Writers Manager of the Year. I guess it is gone. Interesting. Well, we had a lot of players come in, come out. We'll talk about those in a second. They were crowned champions. We got 2.85 million. Still training. Farrell has now become the highest appearance maker over Richardson. And then our best 11 all time is Richardson, Farrell, Spence, Murphy, Babico, Brown, Bateman, Franchette, Hong Quinmin, Bakare, and Shemek makes his way onto the goalkeeper spot with Verps, Cable, Sagiri, O'Donovan, Ellis, Ruben, Esteban Ruiz, De Garata, and Will Russ. Right, and Taylor Crosdale. He retired at 25. That's sad to see him go. Sagiri is at Bilbao. Cable is at Welcome Wanderers. Cierto is at... That's a place. Ibrahim Bakari plays for East Kimbari. Ludwig Planchette plays for Olympique Club. It's French National League 2. Ellis is Lithgow Rose. Spence plays for Toronto FC. Babaco for Vancouver. Dynamo. Bates plays for St. Johnston. Verse plays for Red Star. Nguyen is currently playing at Liverpool. Really? Hell of a change for him. And Jack O'Donovan's at Watford. How did O'Donovan do this year? He didn't do much this year. Yeah, this is where the season review would have been, but I guess I don't have the ability to click on it anymore. We were quite impenetrable on defense and aggressively clinical on offense. We had an XG of 7. We were expected to have 75 goals. We had 97. We were expected to get 70 points. We got 34. We were expected to be third. We got second. We were averaging 2 goals a game. I don't really know there was ever time we were shut out. Club expectations going forward. They want us to play possession and entertaining football, make the most of set pieces, play high pressing and attacking. They want us to play attacking, high tempo, entertaining possession football where we don't sign the players over the age of 30. And they want us to qualify for the Euro Cup next year and reach the playoff of the championship. Oh, okay. I think by like reach the playoffs, like they mean, to give you an idea, we're in the league path and we come in here. So we're in the qualifying or second qualifying round. So they want us to reach here, the playoff, because we don't necessarily get to go into that. So they want us to win 2 games, get the playoffs, and then drop into the Europa League group stage, which is still a hell of an achievement. Okay, interesting enough. When does my contract expire? The end of next season. Dynamics, we have some scouting reports, injury stuff, end of season break, blah, blah, blah. Hearts want Gardner. We don't have a lot going on. That's a transfer I'm working on, some transfers. You guys don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You guys will see it in a bit. They're expanding the bank to 1,500. It's only costing us 49,000 pounds. I think they could have gone a little bit bigger, but we're going to be playing at Huntenburg Park and Crossgates. So I don't know how far away that is from Inverkeithing. But yeah, let's look at statistics, because that's why we're all here. We're going to talk about some statistics, and then I have to talk to you guys about the series going forward, my thoughts on it, and things going forward. Also, a nice 4 million pounds in the bank. Very good indeed. James knows where statistics are, because he's smart like that. Scottish Premier Cup. Stats detailed. Let's go over a few things here. Average possession. We were middle of the pack. We were not the best. We were not the worst. 6th is best of you would say the best of the champions group at 49%. So you'd think, okay, that's not horrible, but not bad either. Headers won. We didn't win a lot of headers. And this is something I'm thinking about now. Maybe it's because we didn't need to do a lot of headers. We didn't win a huge number of them, but when we were getting heads on the ball, we were winning it more than we were losing. So when we headed the ball, we were winning the headers. We just didn't head that often. Yellow cards, we had one of the worst disciplines. I mean, St. Mirren only had 20. We had 66. One of the worst. Whether that's because we were aggressive or not, who knows? We had 1 red card. You guys all saw that, Dragon against Rangers, which kept him out of like the last 3 games, which did not help. Points per game, you'd expect us to be second since that's where we finished the league. It's very much kind of the way it was. Our lowest, was it scored in a row? 3, conceded 2, position 2. Form, we really don't need to worry about form, but it just kind of shows you where we were, like going into the end. Celtic was really trying to pour it on to catch up, and that's why they finished 3rd. Most games won in a row at that point was 3. Most games lost in a row was St. Mirren, scored without losing, and we didn't go very long without that outscoring goal. So, main stats now, attacking-wise, we scored the most goals by a significant margin. Corner goals 14, but 97, huge for us. So, I mean, we play 3 strikers. You'd expect us to score goals. And we also had the most goals per game. We had the most expected goals. We did not take the most penalties. We were tied for second. Celtic got the most of them, but we scored 6 out of our 7 with a good amount. And we had one of the best cross completion ratios with 24%. Probably leads to the fact of why our headers were so good. We also completed a lot of crosses, mainly because our wingbacks providing width and going in there. Goals from corners, we scored 14 goals from corners. Once again, you think that'd be surprising, but we've got 2 center backs who are good at heading the ball and a very good, and it just shows you we're set up to score goals from corners. Goals from direct free kicks. We don't have a dead ball specialist. Rangers scored 4, and I have a feeling that like all of them were against us. But we don't have a good dead ball specialist. It's something to think about going forward. But yeah, the fact that we haven't scored any from direct free kicks and only 1 from indirect free kicks, when like, Rangers, look at what they're creating here. 4 and 8 there. They're 12 goals right there from like just dead ball pieces. Passing wise, 3rd in the league. So we're a good percentage passing team and good completed. And we don't make a lot of passes. So we don't make a lot of passes, but when we're making passes, we complete them. Maybe that's because we're more direct. We don't play kind of a possession tiki-taka style. We're more direct, counterattack, go. We've created the most clear-cut chances. We had the most shots on goal by a large margin. We also had the most shots on target. And we were 2nd in shots on target ratio, a little bit less than 50%. But you're considering the shots comparison between us and the guys who are on 1st. There you go. Conversion rate, 15%. I mean, with the amount of shots that we take to goals, the fact that we had a 15% conversion rate is great. And shots per game, 17. We were shooting like crazy. And it seems like, once again, the more shots you get on goal, the more likely you are to score. That makes sense. Fouls against, we never got fouled that often, but we did make the most amount of dribbles per game, and we also lost possession the least. So we held on to the ball when we got it. Now defensively, we conceded the least amount of goals. We played 38 games, we conceded 34. We're the only team that conceded less goals than matches. Expected goals against us, though, we're expected to have 41 goals against us. So we overachieved there. And you look at Rangers, 29, and they gave up 39. So they did not. So we overachieved. Goals conceded from corners. We didn't concede goals from corners, but we set up because we've got tall center backs and tall people, and we defend our line. Goals conceded from direct free kicks. We didn't lose any goals from direct free kicks. Conceded from indirect free kicks, 5. 5 from indirect free kicks. So we weren't giving it up when there were shots on the goal, but when there was the 2nd ball or the 3rd ball, that's when we were giving up our problems. Clean sheets, we were 2nd to Celtic. 16 still pretty good. You're in the top 3 right there. Fouls made, we're the 4th most fouling team, but we're close to where Rangers and Celtic are, so I consider that to be okay. And tackles won, and I think this is something to look at too here. We didn't have to make a lot of tackles, but when we were making tackles, we were winning them. So, yes, we had a lot of fouls. Yes, we did a lot of this, but when we were tackling, we just were tackling with a purpose. And if we gave up fouls, that's part of the distance, right? Part of what we have to do. Blocks. 3rd in blocks. I don't like the fact that we had to have that many blocks. Looks like Rangers and Celtic were way down here, which means we're giving up a lot of possession. But then again, we play very aggressively and we leave our back line and our midfield very exposed. Possession won. We did not win possession back a lot. Maybe that's because we held on to possession a lot. I mean, the fact that Rangers is down there says something about that. But Celtic is high up there as well. Chances, our clearances, low is down, mainly because we're not a lot of people. Interceptions, 4th highest. I'm kind of proud with that one, the fact that we are getting that many interceptions. Penalty conceded, We only had the second. We had second least penalty conceded at all. Shots against. We had the third lowest shots against us. But like, you know, there's 100 points between us and Celtic. And then shots on target. A lot of third best once again. So defensively, solid from us. But here's where we're going to start talking about things. You'll see where I'm going to lead into us here. Hillfield Swifts, 1,000. I mean, we had the best attendance and the most sellouts, but we only had 1,000 people. And we had nowhere close to attendance, and we definitely had the lowest attendance. Even teams that had, like, we were still the lowest attendance by far. We spent the most amount of money, which you'd expect as a team coming up. And our salary is abysmal. Abysmal. Now, if we look at some of the stuff, I'm going to look at players. We don't need to go into, like, the exact, I mean, like, we could go into the minutia of, like, appearances and attacking and like all these really in-depth stuff. Conceded, you can see Shemek conceded the least. He had the most clean sheets. And when he was forced to make saves, he did a real good job. But we're going to just look at the overview. Most goals. Pretty easy one here. Farrell with the most goals. Young and then Felix are top three strikers. Clearly ahead of everybody else. And for good reason. Most assists is Felix, Frederick, and then Murphy. That might be because Young is more of an advanced forward, not really of a passer, but it makes sense. Most shots, Young had the most shots, even though we brought him in like halfway through the year, which is really funny. And most man of the match awards is split 6 between Harry Wilson. Is it like that? We're talking like that Harry Wilson? Yeah, it's that Harry Wilson. Carlos Hoyes, Celeste Young, and Farrell. Kent got a few, but then he broke his leg and couldn't get there. Most key passes, Frederick, again. Frederick really kind of became a pivotal in the midfield for us. The fact that he got 10 assists as well, you know, really kind of turned it on and became a big part of the midfield. Dragon had one of the best pass completion ratios, though our boy Pressy is there too. And we may have to look at maybe bringing somebody like him in. Most tackles 1, nowhere on the list. Though Bateman and Pressy, 2 of our old boys are. Most dribbles made, Farrell with 3. We saw Farrell break so many damn times this year. It was insane. Shemek had the most clean sheets with 16. Fewest conceded was him as well. And expected goals, you know, per 90 minutes. Some interesting stats. Shots per 90. Expected goals, 18, 17, and 14. So Felix, 19, 23, and 26. Well above that. Penalties, Farrell took all of our penalties. He scored 6 out of 7. I think that's about as good a ratio as you want. Games won, we don't need to worry about 90 minutes played. There you are. Player details. We really, really want to get into it. Dragon and Presley got the most yellow cards, but I think that's also because they're playing as holding mids. Who covered the most distance? Murphy for us. Highest average rating. A lot of our players. Attacking wise, shots on target, appearances, penalties, assists. Bonifigo, then with Frederick and Murphy, Farrell and Westberg. All there. Westberg left back with 8 assists. Very nice. Key passes. Pass completion ratio, Dragon. Gustavo Gomez, the center back, 90%. Defending, mistakes leading to goal. I don't see any of our guys on this. Key tackles made. Yeah, see, like, look, once again, key tackles made. Key headers made. Our guys are better at heading the ball when not making tackles. Interceptions, Westberg had 94. And then Murphy is the next one on our team. Shots blocked. We didn't have a lot of guys blocking shots. And Shemek is all around here. So, there's all of our statistics. You guys have, like, your brains crunched yet? So, next is, where do you go from here? I'm going to take a quick pick. Let me just do this. Because let's take a look here. Where do we want to go? Where can we improve? What are we looking at for players? Farrell, Young, and Bonifigo, I would love to keep that strike partnership alive. I think I'm giving Farrell a new contract to stave off any interest in him. Celeste Young isn't have any wants, and neither is Bonifigo. But I think this will be good. I'm probably going to manipulate the strike partnership a little bit there. Frederick Murphy, once again, love to keep. But I know people are starting to sniff around Murphy. And I wouldn't be surprised if he starts sniffing around Frederick. If they do, I'm talking multi-million, like tens of millions of pounds for either one of them. Frederick, I think once he really found himself, so once we got him as that advanced playmaker, he really started to move the ball. Murphy, it's been hard with Murphy because he's mentally and physically a great player, but his technicals just let him down. And I'd love to have him get more technically proficient, and maybe cashing in on him and bringing in another midfielder would be nice. But you know, he's Murphy. He's our boy. He's our guy. I think with wingbacks, Westberg is solid on the left wing back role, and Santos was a revelation bringing him in. I thought it was going to be a rotational option, but it was great on the right wing. So I'm happy there. And with defense, I like our central defenders, but Ruiz is starting to get some interest. Now, once again, Ruiz, a solid player, our captain, but somebody we brought in on a free. So if I can get a couple £1,000,000 for him, I could probably turn around, buy a center back for him that's the same quality as him for less than that and make a profit. And then also get somebody who's maybe left-footed, because obviously he's a right-footed player playing there. And then Gomez, I would really like to keep Gomez because he's just a stud. 6'3" with that jumping reach, and his marking and tackling is only getting better. The only thing about him is if his vision just got a little bit better. If we could just improve his vision by 1 or 2, this guy would be a world beater. But as it stands right now, super, super solid center back. Semic. Semic is an interesting one. Semic is wanted by a lot of teams. And now the interesting thing about Semic is that he is obviously the Czech Republic's starting goalkeeper, and he's also being touted as the next Petr Cech. I would love to keep him, but once again, I have to look at this as a transitional season. If big offers come in for players, I have to let them go. The only one I really think is untouchable in the entirety of the squad is probably Dragon, only because like he's 3.5 stars. He's showing 4.5 stars worth of potential, but he is just a monster in that midfield. And I really don't want to give up somebody like that. Yes, we have where's our buddy? Not Marco Grandiosi, but Montano, who is just as good and can play further forward. And in some cases, it's better because he's a stronger, bigger dude. But Dragon, and really, I would not like to get rid of Farrell. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of sells. I mean, I think I probably am going to piss off the squad a decent amount with the amount of people I want to let go. Also, there's a lot of guys in the youth team that I need to like axe. Guys that we've been kind of collecting here. I mean, obviously we have like guys like Pedro Batista, who's good, but like Kirchhoff, we brought him in, and yeah, he's developed great, but you know, what are we gonna do with him? Asari, I picked him up. He's gonna be a backup fullback, and I think, you know, he needs to have some time to develop. But like Sean Moran, what are we gonna do with him? Kevin Alberg, he's developed, but you know, nobody really wants him. Iosi Suarez, we've got a lot of strikers. Maybe turn around, get some money for him, even though he's, you know, unavailable for the reserves. Blackman. And all these guys are also taking up wages, too. So we need to look about possibly, you know, being a liquid kind of club and trying to, you know, make some wages back. Plus, we got people on loan coming back. You know, we've got, you know, Webb, Lacombe, Snow, Dewhurst. And the thing is, too, with like Berger Dewhurst, he's Scottish now. He took up Scottish Scott up to nationality, so he doesn't count against the foreign player total. But like, is he, will he ever be Premiership level? Can we trust him to play in the midfield? I mean, he's got some great mentals, but who knows? Greg Anderson, he played for Hamilton. He's a good player. How old is he? He's 20. How much more development time can we give him now that he's got and his potential starting to show through? Emil Fredriksson, a guy who's been with us since for a while, and he's a pace merchant with some finishing, but he's played more on the wing lately than he has as a striker. Do we want somebody like this? Is he better on the wing? And then, we talked about Kirchhoff. So I need to liquidate because I need to raise funds and I got to ask the board for more money because we can't build a squad that is going to be remotely successful in Europe for 13,000 pounds a week. It's just not happening. Now, what is my plan? High liquidation, high turnover, trim down the squad. Because I also think we have a little bit too much talent and a little too much here, and I need to trim down the squad a lot. At the same time, I want to at least make it to the groups. We make it to the group stage, we can get like a 10, like an 8. If it's the Champions League group stage, it's going to be great. Europa League group stage. Anyways, we're multi-million-dollar worth of money. Any of those group stages. Now, if we drop, because I think the way it works is that if we get knocked out in the Champions path, we go into the Europa League stuff. If we get into the Europa League group stage, but we get knocked out, but we're the third place team, we get knocked down into the Europa Conference League second playoff round, which is like before the quarters and the semis. So there's a way for us to pick up your European paycheck. And the fact that we're in Europe is going to be huge for the team. Like next season is going to be financially amazing for us. But remember, we want to look at the board and the club vision. They want us to qualify for the Europa League. Now for the Premiership, if I can pull this up, we can look at the rules. Europa Cup, that's third place. So they're not expecting us to beat Celtic and Rangers next year, who, by the way, are going to get better because they're Celtic and Rangers, but they're expecting us to improve and be third and be in like the top half. So we have to be top half in the league, which is very competitive this year, as you guys saw. We have to be competitive in Europe, and I have to do it on a budget that's less than what I had at the end of the year because they took three grand away from me. Selling players is going to be a must. Rotating the squad is going to be a must. Trimming it down, but also doing that, and then starting to lean back towards a domestic player base because we have European games we have to worry about. The other thing that I need to see from you guys is this. Now I get to start asking questions. So if you made it this far, it's question time. Here are some things. 1, do we change formation? We have been running the 4-3-3 super aggressive. Now we get overrun in the attacking midfield area. Do we need to change the formation either by adding wingers, by making this defensive midfielder becoming an attacking midfielder, or do we keep the same or we ride it out for another season to see where we go? Thoughts. Secondly, and I think probably, is any of the players that you see here on the team, is any of them no-goes, no-sells, like hard keeps? Like, is David Zabala somebody you can't live without? Daniel Agnew, Batista, Farrell. Is there a no-go on your guys' list? And then finally, going forward, how do you guys, and actually I will do this for this. I'm going to be, oh my God, this is going to be crazy. We'll do it this way. Is the camera on? Yeah. Hi. Also Twitch streaming. How do you guys want to see the games going forward? Because the way that I kind of structure the series, the way that the series kind of goes, is, oh, you know, there's the Bedford Cup. Now, let's be honest, the Bedford Cup first part is very much just it's a warm-up tournament. It's a warm-up tournament that we then take semi-seriously until we don't, until we hit a tough team and then we just knock ourselves out. But usually the story, the season goes, start of the season, then all of a sudden, like, major games, major cup games, major teams, major cup games, major teams, and you start losing like these games, like, you know, you don't see the Hibbert and Livingston games because, you know, you've got the Celtic game coming up and you had Rangers. Now you have Motherwell and even Aberdeen doesn't really show up too often. And oh, look, like Celtic St. Johnston. How do you guys want to see the season progress? Because I don't think we're going to, you know, you're not going to have another season where we have, what, 12, 13 episodes? That's not how I expect it to be, unless like we're getting a Champions League and a Champions Cup run or something like that. That's just a lot of episodes. Now, obviously, we can't show you everything. Do we want to cut down? Do you guys like how it goes? Do you like seeing like the high pressure, high stakes games? Or sometimes do you want to just see us come in here and like whip Motherwell 5-0 or show, see us St. Mirren go 6-1? Because going forward, and now that we're starting to hit like phase 2 and phase 3, which is the developing, becoming a serious team a serial team in the upper parts of the Scottish Premiership, a European contender, and then eventually European champions. You know, we need to think about to ourselves here, what are we doing? How does this team evolve? How does the series evolve? And how do you guys want to see it? Because once we're starting to play in European competition, it's going to probably end up being like Rangers Cup game, you know, Scottish Cup, and then, you know, Champions League group. And then just like the league becomes a little bit less, and then the cup games, like you don't see the early cup games, but maybe you should. How do you guys want to see it? What do you want to see? I mean, obviously, there's a certain amount I can do. I can't give you every game as much as you guys want to, because that's just not feasible. Do we look at maybe streaming a little bit of this? Maybe catch a game on a stream every once in a while, actually going back to doing the streams on Fridays. You know, this is stuff I need to know, and the stuff that I want you guys, because you guys are the ones consuming the entertainment. I'm playing the save because I love Football Manager, and this is fun for me. If it wasn't, even if nobody watched this series, I would still do this because this is fun. I enjoy this. I can't wait to actually start winning the Champions League. And I can't wait to see which players win us the Champions League. I hope Farrell and some of these, and like Murphy and some of these guys are a part of that, but they may not be. Also, and another note, we have to start looking at FIFA 22 is coming out. Now, FIFA 22 is coming out. I don't play FIFA, but Football Manager 22 is coming out in early November. Now, this is September 23rd. But I don't plan on ending this series because Football Manager 2022 is coming out. And I usually don't start that series until January anyways, because I have to wait for databases. What do we do? I mean, this series obviously has an end date, and it's going to end. But like, how far do we want to push it? When would you guys like to see this end? It was when we become European champions. It's when we're just overall dominating, like Corby was at the end. An undefeated season, or when I've taken over and Scotland is winning the World Cup. World Cup's happening this summer, by the way. Farrell got called up to the Scottish side. He's going to be representing Scotland in the World Cup. Lots of things, lots of questions that need to be answered. And hopefully you guys take the time and do that. I will probably have timestamp down below so you can jump to certain parts of the video, because smart games. Hopefully, but yeah, a lot to go on here. I've got a transfer window I got to do. Hopefully I don't sell players by the time you guys comment and be like, James, don't sell Shemek. He's the best goalkeeper ever. We don't want to do the Petter's check. And I'm like, well, I sold him. But we'll see. We'll see, because it's going to be an interesting one. Part 1 successfully done. Let's start, now the real fun begins. Now the real work begins. It's Europe time. God, I hope they give me more money. But on Monday, we'll see where we are and where we go up. So until then, actually, we probably will be seeing each other for our European game. Well, we may not be with Farrell for that. He may be at the World Cup while we're still challenging in like in a European like qualification game. Oh boy, so many new things. So till Monday, guys. I'm James. You. This is the Swifts. And remember, it's not how good you are, it's how good you want to be. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.